Another day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're watching Westworld. This episode 5 of the second season. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying it so far. If you'd like to watch today's full episode, it is available for free in a link in the description below. Just click on it, put the password in and enjoy. So 5th episode's kind of like mid-season. Usually they're all bangers, aren't they? If you get mid-season and obviously end of season episodes are usually very, very good. So hopefully today does not disappoint. Last episode was interesting because we started the episode with James, you know, Logan's dad pretty much, Mr. Delos, in a facility, and William was coming in. He was speaking to him. Now he kind of going for this simulation. He was asking him a couple of questions here and there, and he kind of started malfunctioning. Now it's interesting because it turns out that he actually has died from the condition that we seen him earlier on in the season. He was coughing, wasn't it? And he didn't actually survive it. But they kind of been using his brain and kind of putting it into hosts and seeing if they can kind of recover old data and old personalities. And it's really, really good, to be honest. But they didn't successfully obviously do it. And as the episode progressed, we kept going through the stages, doing the same conversations. He was getting better and better. Do you know what I mean? He was lasting 5 days and 6 days, 7, 8, all the way up to like 35. But the last time we seen them having a conversation was when William was literally the man in black in this episode. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't the young William that we've seen. He'd been doing this for 20 odd years and still no success. He can only get to like 30 or 40 days before he starts malfunctioning. But I do think it was interesting that their intentions was obviously to try and bring people back. Maybe that's how they was trying to gather in data for, to revolutionise the industry. I don't know, mate. It's exciting, though. Didn't really see anything of Dolores did where nothing at all, but we're going to get to somebody who we did see, which is going to be a good twist, and it's very interesting. But we started again, obviously, the episode with Bernard getting pulled from Clementine into a cave. Now, he had a gun with him at the time, and as he walked in, he seen that Elsie was still there. Yes, good little twist. She's still alive. He shot her, you know, like anklet thing because she was chained up, and she pulled the gun on him. She was like, "You're the one that stranded me in here. You brought me over a couple of protein bars, left me here to die." He's trying to explain that it's not him. Do you know what I mean? That he was under the control of, of Ford. She didn't really understand what was going on until he started, you know, like malfunctioning and like shaking and falling on the floor. And then she ended up getting his little iPad, his little screen, and going on it and finding out that he was a host. Then they ended up finding a secret facility inside of the cave, which was the one that actually, you know, James was inside, which we didn't know at the time. And he went in and he was trying to figure out what was going on. You know, Bernard's having a couple of flashbacks here and there, which I am enjoying. And, you know, they was replaying all of these scenarios and trying to figure out what this facility has been doing, what the intentions are, what information they've been storing. Do you know what I mean? In a couple of the flashbacks, Bernard was typing on the computer, but obviously he's trying to explain that because he shot himself in the head pretty much, that all his memories are floating all over the place. He doesn't really know what timeline he's in, whether he's in the present or the past or the future. He's confused himself. And, you know, do you remember the episode where we started off in like the safari thing where the woman was getting chased by a tiger and she ended up, you know, like crawling up onto like the embankment before getting taken by these, you know, by the tribe? Well, last episode, mate, they were still mooching, you know, they were still going, they were still tied up. She can understand their language. She was talking to them, which is very, very interesting. She got thrown into a corner with Stubbs and he was like, "Don't worry, you know, like our people are going to come and save us." She turned around and said, "Mate, I don't even want to leave the park." So I was thinking, that's interesting. Do you know what I mean? She don't even want to get saved from the park. What's going on there? And then what she ended up doing is escaping, running away. And then at the end of the episode, she ended up turning up on a horse in front of a man in black saying, "Hello, Dad," or something. It's crazy. What a twist, mate. So he is, obviously, William is in the park now with his daughter, who's obviously, you know, an explorer like him. It's well exciting. And I honestly can't wait to see what we have going with this storyline. It's very interesting. I never expected it. Thanks for checking out today's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you do, please smash like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, let's jump into today's episode. Look at all these bodies stacking up. This is the true present, isn't it?
Go ahead.
Dredging's almost at 50%. Should have the rest of them skimmed up by end of day.
See if we can't reprogram these things to behave by our rules again.
Copy that. And sir, I have 2 teams out looking for Abernathy.
They're draining all of that water out. That's what he just said there. That's what it sounded like.
We're pulling what we can off the recovered host control units. What's really unsettling it? What's in about a third of them?
Been wiped?
Like they never held data to begin with. We put the fires out, but there's nothing we can recover from the cradle.
Who's doing this to them?
That's quite a story you gave them.
Oh, look, there he is. He's still alive there. Well, not alive like.
Disparate threads come together to create this nightmare.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the samurais.
Tell your associates to set us free. We mean no harm.
I've seen him in something before.
This world will end badly I'll make sure your end is worse. You understand them?
You all do. She's a madam, consciously fluent in dozens of languages, including Japanese. The fact that these psychos didn't flip to English as soon as I open my mouth means that the same malfunctioning shit show that's playing out in Westworld has found its way here.
Right. Okay. So would that... Right. So she could possibly still have all of these powers because she tried to speak to the people in the last episode or the one before when he was walking after her in the lake. You know, the ones all... well... face painted up, innit? The ones that took Emily. She tried to speak to those and it didn't work. They still come after them. But now it might be because whatever's playing out in the park, he's not registering. It's, you know, it's messing everything up. And when she's speaking to them, it's not in their native tongue. It's just like me trying to speak to, you know, a French person in English, and they're just looking at me like, what are you talking about? But if I spoke in French, you'd be like, ah, right, I get it. Do you know what I mean? So that makes sense. That'd be interesting to see later on down the line. I like it how it's not Western-y style, do you know what I mean? I do like how we're venturing out into different environments. Oh. Oh, you'd be absolutely wounded, wouldn't you? You went over there shouting at him and you got smoked.
It's us.
Ah.
A little bit from Westworld.
It does make sense though, it's easy. You just change the personalities, change the appearance and language and location, and you just got different characters. Here we go. They're all kind of staring at themselves in here as well. Interesting. The thing is, I want to know is how she just suddenly remembered that she can speak that language. You know what I mean? Because he just explained that it's kind of like a malfunction. The thing that's happening all the way over there is kind of impacting them here. But now, suddenly, she's all just got it. She's back, fluent, ready to go. And it is good to see it because, again, do you know what I mean? It would make total sense. Why make different characters where you could just create different worlds, different islands, different cities, countries? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and just use the same narratives, but change the location, buildings, and aesthetics. You could still use the same characters and stories, and it's totally different with the way it's delivered with the different person and programming. Do you know what I mean?
Sweetwater was never home to begin with, Teddy. You and I were born long before this place even existed. Make a thorough inspection, from the engine to the last axle.
What do we need the train for, Dolores?
They've taken my daddy.
Didn't get much sleep last night.
Oh, they're still playing the roles? But he's there though. Clementine.
Sometimes they're real bad.
Rejoin the others.
I want her to be used more.
When I asked for a civilized conversation, I meant the quickest way out of here.
The narrative bones of this place are just like Westworld. Hospitality is a foreplay to a new quest. He's not supposed to be here. Who knows how seeing your own doppelbot is gonna fuck with your cognition, heighten aggression and suspicion, feedback loops. Yet another reason to get out of here. Too fucking sweet.
Shogun様はこの近くで家臣ともども陣を一挙を望んでおられる。この国で一番の舞の名手。桜ご指名なられた。
桜は売り物ではございません。
何を申すか。礼を申せ。
これが私の稲でございます。
Oh, didn't expect that. Do you reckon that's not what he expected either?
That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
仲間でには将軍はこのことを知り、売ってをよこすであろう。されどそなたか、どこか私たちを遠くに連れ出してくれよ。
Yukino Izumi. Ne, Sakura. Snow Lake is a cornerstone, but also has an access point back to the tunnel.
Yo, I didn't expect that guy to get stabbed in his eye. That was mad. It's kind of the same as her though. Do whatever it takes to save somebody. Oh, they're all coming in. She can't see the future, surely. What the come here. How have you just done that, Maeve? Yo, that was brutal, that. He's just watched her control him without opening her mouth. She's got some next level powers. I don't know how it's happening. That was sick. Yo, they're all marching in, though. Yo, you'd be dipping, wouldn't you? You'd be absolutely running out that back door. Surely they're going to get overrun. Yeah, he was just buying a little bit of time. But then, see, right, that's fine, but how are they getting out their situation now? They're captive. Do you know what I mean? They are now, like, prisoners to them, so to speak. So I understand that they bought some time for them to flee. But technically, that girl that they wanted in the first place, what's she called, Sakura or something, she's gone. You know what I mean? She was taken. She wasn't there with them. She's not fled with them. And my question is, why does this guy, like, want her specifically so much? You know what I mean? Like, he's come in and said, I want to buy you, or I just want you, like, you're coming with me. And then, obviously, all this retaliations happen because of that. And now, obviously, he's saying that the narrative shouldn't be having these venturing in and, you know, coming into the town and stuff like that. But when you go rogue, yeah, then it changes to different storylines for everybody else. That guy wasn't supposed to get stabbed, but he did. And then that's obviously changed everybody else's decision-making that they're supposed to be doing down the line. It's obviously led him to come in. So, again, it's interesting to see that one little pin drop, do you know what I mean? One little ripple effect into the, like, the ocean, so to speak, can have a massive impact on the whole, like, storyline as it obviously rips out.
You and I spent a lot of time here, watching the herd, talking about making a life together.
Someday. What if someday was right now? There's a fight coming, Dolores. It's gonna be one that's gonna change us in ways we can't even begin to predict. Now, you can't tell me that somewhere out there in all that beauty, there isn't a spot for us.
I ever tell you about the year we almost lost the herd? Blue tongue. Daddy finally figured out that it wasn't spreading from cow to cow. It was the flies that carried it. Daddy burned them. The weak, the infected. Made a pyre that went on for days. Flies hate smoke. The herd lived.
If the Shogun is awake enough to play fast and loose with his ninjas and his army, then the odds of us surviving here have dropped to approximately fuck all. You took one look at you and self-impaled. How did you do that?
I don't know.
Mate, she could get too powerful, though. You can get too powerful. You know what I mean? Like, he looks like he's, I wouldn't say on their side, but he's just in it for himself, innit? Literally. He's leaking from his ear. Yeah.
The Shogun's not awake. No fucking wonder the daimyos didn't hear you.
That is crazy, that, innit? Both of them have got to dance for him, and then he said that they'll be free, or one of them will be. I'm not too sure if he... But they've gone to the extreme measures, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? They've gone to the extreme measures, yeah? That guy's obviously survived, or somebody has, and gone back and told him that there's a witch there. That's obviously telling them to do things, you know, turn and kill your men, so he's cut off all there is. Do you know what I mean? Guy's gone to those extreme levels. It's like, I tell you what, yeah? If she can control us, we'll make it so that we can't hear her. And that way, we're sound. And it's mad how devoted people are as well. Do you know what I mean? They actually are so committed. It looks like they didn't even flinch, mate, not even bothered. But the fact is, we've seen her control somebody with the mind. You know, she didn't even have to speak. And I thought that she might have done it to him then when he started laughing. But obviously, he already knew what was going on. He knew who she was and stuff. And now, it's going to be interesting to see how many people that she can actually do this to, because if they've all cut their ears off and she can't control any of them, it's going to be down to the strength that she's currently just started to acquire.
Train will be ready by morning.
To go where?
exactly where we thought. I caught up with the men who took your father. Took a while, but he gave up the destination.
She's been a pretty good asset to Dolores, hasn't she? That's been pretty good.
Let's find a spot for the night.
I'm not some stranger, Dolores. Coming from outside looking for a pretty lie. I've known you my whole life. We go eyes open.
You've been lashed? Wow.
幼い頃からともなく声が聞こえてきたの。見てはならぬから私は逃げた。浜辺に足を下ろした時またその声が聞こえたの。ここは新世界。この世界では何にでもなれる娘がいる。そなたと会えば喜ぶだろう。目はどこに？新世界。
There's something I need to show you. I'm questioning my feelings for you. How much is real? How much is just some story I was made to believe?
They built us to perform for them and for each other. I saw you tonight, Dolores.
I did see you, Daddy.
She's gonna kill him? She's gonna burn him just like she said her dad done.
And I've seen you're not gonna make it. And if we're gonna survive, some of us will have to burn.
So is he gonna die and then the guy's gonna bring him back?
Without a full reset, I can't guarantee that he'll hold together.
To grow, we all need to suffer.
Overwriting existing data, I guess. See, I don't get that on there because she was saying, look, mate, for the past, what, 3 days or a few days or something, she's been wondering whether the feelings for him are real or if it's something that's been programmed. Do you know what I mean? But, like, the thing is, yeah, is she not doing all of this from her own conscience now? You could tell that she's off script. She's doing, you know, everything that's been against what she's there to, you know what I mean, like, in the past to do. She's deciding where she wants to go, how she wants to do it, who she's going to kill, who she's going to capture, what she wants to do, who's going to ride with her, who's going to die. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's clear that that's her decision. So, like, when she's saying I've been conflicted about whether my feelings with you have been true or not, well, that doesn't make any sense to me anyway, considering how much of all of this you've been doing from your own accord, where it's clear that you're not being dictated and programmed to do it. So, she's been ruthless there. She's tied it into the story with her dad, obviously, like when the disease is coming in, do you know what I mean? What do? You burn it out. Well, that's what she was saying there. And it's kind of like, hey, do you know what I mean? To grow, you got to suffer. And now she's like overriding his code. So I mean, in the future / present that we've seen, he was lay on the body pile. So he might not even survive, do you know what I mean? That's the interesting bit. What the hell? I'd love us to get close to him, right, and pull a hairpin out and stab him. Yes. Yes, that's what I said. That was a gruesome one, that. That was mad. I hope she don't die after all this. I want her to stay, join the team, mate. Squad up.
Jesus. What do we do now?
I told you, I found a new voice.
I'm the captain now, isn't it, mate? Literally, it's honestly crazy. It's like inside of everybody's head, and she can control more than one person. So, like, you know, I've been excited to see what we've been doing with the MAEVE character because like I said, last season, kind of feel like she was technically the main character, even though she's not. Like, she's not, but she was. I felt like her storyline was probably the better one last season. I did like, obviously, Fords and stuff like that, but like here, you know, up until mid-season, finale, so to speak, or whatever, midway. Like, we've not really seen her much, and you know, I have asked questions like, can she control people? No, it's not happened. Do you know what I mean? She said it didn't work. Again, she said it didn't work. And then, obviously, we had this little bit of information dropping in saying that the reason is probably because of malfunctions that are going on all over the place. You know, like when he started speaking English, they should have automatically picked up his language and been able to understand and respond to him, and they couldn't. And that maybe that is when she was speaking to them, she couldn't do that as well. But then, I don't understand later on, like a couple of minutes later in the episode, they could understand fluent, you know, is it Japanese? Like, she could speak it, and it's like, what the hell? Why could she not speak it a minute ago, and now she totally can? I know that he said that it's programmed into the mind, and they probably just had to access it, but you know what I mean? That was an interesting way we done it. And then, obviously, we come in, we had the fighting. She told them to turn on each other, which they did do. They was killing, they was, you know, slashing. That's why the guy had to end up running off in it and ended up, you know, well, telling that guy, and they've all cut their ears, so she couldn't actually tell him to do anything. But then we've also seen the next level OP, mate. Literally, it's like she's evolved and moved up a level where somebody's gone and she's strangling her, and on her last legs, you know, she's actually taught to them internally, mentally, gone inside their own brains, and he's turned around and stabbed himself in the head, didn't he, against that pole? So that was ruthless. It looks crazy. The visual on that was well good. I mean, speaking about visuals there, she's just come in at the end there and cut that guy's head like all the way around in a ring, and he stood up and he kind of fell off and died. That was mad. And then obviously she stood up. They're about to get executed themselves. You know, she did give her a proposition a couple of minutes before that basically, you know, if they get out of this, that they can kind of go with them. She'll show you, you know, the new world, and she'll go and rescue her daughter and stuff like that. And obviously here now, they're about to get killed, and she's just turned that whole army, you know what I mean, a couple of 100 people all at once, just like that, all turned, killing each other. And then the rest are coming as well. They've all come running down the hill, and she's not bothered now. She's not running, she's not scared. She stood there, she's waiting. Like I said, mate, I found my new voice, my inner voice, and I'm ready to go. So I mean, I'm very excited to see what we do with the main character. I like her little crew that's going on. Like you say, you got Hector and her, and mate, he's funny in his outfit. Like, he's a key asset though, isn't he? He's worked in the park, he knows what's going on, he knows storylines. Yes, okay, he kind of cheated and wrote the same ones in a different narrative, but it doesn't really matter, mate. You know what I mean? Even he said, look, if we make it to this sector, there's an entrance there that we can get into the facility. Key. That literally is key. You need somebody like that on your side, because you don't know where you're going. You're just walking, aren't you, into the unknown, where at least he does have a bit of insight, so you got to keep him around. Okay, that's going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks so much for checking out the channel today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So what do you think of it so far? I think it's been interesting, to be honest. I'm not too sure which storyline I'm enjoying the most. I kind of like what's going on in terms of the Abernathy story, and I don't think that we're focusing a lot of attention on it. Yeah, I feel like that's the main premise of the whole season. I understand that we're establishing a backstory around it so that we can obviously hit that story like head on, nailed on in the final 3 episodes, because that is the whole premise of it all. Do you know what I mean? Last season, you know, all the information was put inside of him. He was supposed to be extracted out of the park. You know, Ford's done his little story or whatever it is. He's been killed. Chaos has erupted. You know, Hale's gone in on the computer. Come and save us. No, we haven't received the package. Then, do you know what I mean? Again, come save us. No, we haven't got the package. Bernard, what's going on? You extracting data? Spying on the whole, and you're like on the guests. You're taking their personal info, everything about them, DNA. You know, it's hush hush. To be fair, we haven't even been told fully what has actually been taken. It's just been insinuations here and there in little gestures. You know what I mean? When William was talking to the guy from Dallas, like, he was like, look, mate, you know, you spend half your money on resources and marketing to understand what people want. Yeah, you know, everything this park offers is their true desires. And, like, you know, they think that they're coming in not being watched, but that's all we have to tell them. And then, obviously, like, the insinuation is we are watching them. We know what they want. We're acquiring the data. And then, obviously, from other aspects and things that we've seen, we believe that that is true. But, again, what is it? What are they using it for? How are they going to benefit from it? Why was Dolores shown earlier on in the season in the well, you know, prior to the park actually being not being opened? You know, she was taking a tour by Bernard around or whatever, Arthur, around his house where he was going to live. She was looking out into the city, and she's like, have you ever seen something so splendid or something? Do you know what I mean? And then it's like she's having conversations like, mate, I've been to their world, I've been to our world, like, you know, I'm gonna go and win at both of them or something. And like, obviously in here in today's episode, she's with Ted, she's telling the story about obviously how when the kettle get infected, you know what I mean, the flies was coming in, what would you do? I was like, I put a net around it. she was like, well, my dad, you know what I mean? He figured out it was the flies. What he'd done is he burnt all the dead crops. The flies didn't like, obviously, the smell. The rest of them stayed alive, so to speak. And that's kind of what she done here. She thinned the herd out. She went in, she slept with him. She said that she's acquired and realised information about him and this and that. And obviously she's, well, shut him down, rebooting him, taking away his core memories or programming. She wants to make sure that he's fully committed on her side, basically. She wants to make sure that there's no reminiscence of any code inside of his head that could possibly not be real, that she can't actually use. So I do think it's interesting, but like, I would focus more on Abernathy. What's happened? I understand we're getting this timeline, but we're not even utilising it. Like, to me, I was so intrigued about the Emily storyline and the William being his, you know, a dad, and the reuniting last episode. Nothing this episode. I understand that because we haven't had much of MAEVE. We had all of MAEVE in this episode and not much this season, but I feel like they're focusing too much on like the story, and like they could dabble in all of them and just give me a bit of each thing. I feel like sometimes it's taking too long to go back to something. So basically, like Hale, we haven't seen her since Bernard went inside of the, you know, like inside of the cave, and she was like, "Oh, Bernard, I'm surprised you're still alive." You know what I mean? Like, but what's happening with her? Like, where are we going? Like, what's that? How did she break away from, say, Bernard and survive? She did run off, didn't she? Basically, we've seen it. They was there when he got captured. She ran off. Where did she go? What happened? How she made it back to the cave? You know what I mean? Like the river, all the people that are in there. What's happened to that as well? So. I do think it's interesting. I like it. I'm not complaining, but what I'm saying is I wish that I had more information of more people like Abernathy, again, like I was just mentioning. He is the whole key thing. They didn't receive the package, so they're here now trying to get it. Do you know what I mean? It's lost in the park and they've come without receiving it. They're going down, they're executing hosts, you know what I mean? They're trying to thin everything down so that they can get that one thing that they truly desire. Where is it? Yeah? How did Bernard lose him? Well, we know, like, but what I'm saying is, how did they lose him? That's the question. Do you know what I mean? We haven't seen that yet. We're going to, but I feel like it's been so slow to see that. Basically, like I said, like, so they come in, they extracted him, got him in the car, gone. I think it's been 2 episodes, kind of nothing, no questions now that we're seeing of them. And then obviously we're probably going to get it next or the one after. But then if we get it next, then this MAEVE one will be held for another 2 episodes before she comes back in. So I feel like they need to do better with spreading it, if I'm being honest. But I do like the stuff that I'm seeing. I do like it. I think it's very interesting. I just feel like we need to pick it up a little bit. But that's currently my, obviously, review of today's episode. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please smash the like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.